ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣಪೂರ್ಣಾಯ ದೋಷದೂರಾಯ ವಿಷ್ಣವೇ ನಮಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರಾಣನಾಥಾಯ ಭಕ್ತಾಭೀಷ್ಟಪ್ರದಾಯಿನೇ. Dvaita Vedanta, founded by Sri Madhvacharya, is one of the major schools of Vedanta philosophy. Sri Madhvacharya, also known as Ananda Tirtha and Purna Prajna, was born in a village called Pajaka Kshetra, about 8 miles southeast of Udupi, in the Udupi district of Karnataka. He lived from 1238 AD to 1317 AD. He took sannyasa ashrama when he was only 16 years old from Achyuta Preksha, a sannyasin of Ekadandi Ekanti Vaishnava order. Achyuta Preksha stayed at Ananteshwara temple in Udupi. Madhvacharya studied Veda, Shastra and Advaita classics like Ishtasiddhi from Achyuta Preksha. He was not satisfied with Advaita interpretation of Veda and Shastras. He independently studied Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, Gita, Itihasa Purana, sacred literature. He undertook a tour of South India and visited the centers of learning such as Kanyakumari, Rameshwaram, Srirangam. He discoursed on his interpretation in the assemblies of the scholars and won many followers. He then undertook a tour of North India and went up to Badarikashrama. He is reported to have presented his Gita Bhashya to the sage Vedavyasa himself at Badarikashrama. On his return journey, he visited Bihar, Bengal, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and North Karnataka. Many scholars became his disciples. He ordained 4 of them to sannyasa. Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha were prominent among them. Padmanabha Tirtha propagated Dvaita Vedanta in Karnataka, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. On his return to Udupi, Sri Madhvacharya wrote Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Upanishad Bhashyas, Rig Bhashya, 10 Prakaranas, and the digests of Mahabharata and Bhagavata. He went on a second tour of North India and visited Badri, Kurukshetra, Varanasi. He visited Goa on his way back. He established a Krishna temple at Udupi, ordained 8 brahmacharyans to sannyasa, and established the famous Ashtamathas of Udupi. Trivikrama Pandita became his disciple and wrote a commentary on Sri Madhvacharya's Brahma Sutra Bhashya. Sri Madhvacharya wrote 37 works on the whole, lived for 79 years, and returned to Badarikashrama on the 9th day of the bright half of Magha month in Pingala year. He is considered as the 3rd incarnation of Vayu, the other 2 incarnations being that of Hanuma and Bhima. As Vayu, he is the chief messenger of Lord Vishnu. Sri Madhvacharya's Dvaita Vedanta and Vaishnava religion is really a revival of Pancharatra Bhagavata religion with Vishnu as the supreme God and the rejuvenation of the philosophy of Veda and Upanishads with a realistic approach. His philosophy is a realistic and theistic philosophy. Supremacy of Lord Vishnu, reality of the world, and the difference among the God, souls, and matter are the 3 important features of this philosophy. He did not consider karma as opposed to jnana. He advocated an active life, emphasizing duty, devotion, and dedication. His concept of Vishnu is more than a mere deity. He is the Brahman of Vedanta. Vishnu is independent supreme reality. Souls and matter are dependent realities. Ashesha Gunapurnatvam Sarvadosha Samujhitihi Vishnur Annaccha Tattantram Iti Samyak Viniranayaha. Vishnu possesses infinite number of auspicious qualities. He has no flaws or inadequacies of any type. He is independent. All others are dependent upon him, is the chief teaching of Dvaita Vedanta. The whole universe is grouped into two categories, Swatantra and Paratantra, independent and dependent. Vishnu alone is independent, all others are dependent. An entity that is not dependent upon anything else in respect of its essential nature, its functions, and its comprehension is independent. Swarupa Pramiti Pravritti Lakshana Satta Traividhye Paranapeksham Swatantram. Those entities that depend upon something else in these respects are Paratantra. Vishnu alone does not depend upon anything else. Therefore, he is Swatantra. All others, namely souls and matter, are Paratantra. Therefore, he is supreme reality and all others are dependent realities. Another important feature of Dvaita Vedanta is that the sources of spiritual knowledge are not to be confined to Upanishads alone. The entire Veda, Pancharatra Samhita, Mahabharata, Moola Ramayana, and all those sacred books that do not conflict with these are the sources of spiritual knowledge. Rigadhya Bharatanchaiva, Pancharatra Mathakhilam, Moola Ramayananchaiva, Puranancha Etadatmakam, Echa Anuyayanaha Tesham, Sarve Techa Sadagamaha. The Vedas not only yield ritualistic knowledge but also yield spiritual knowledge. When one obtains only the ritualistic knowledge through the Vedas, he has explored them only as Apara Vidya. If one obtains the spiritual knowledge through Vedas, he will have explored them as Paravidya. Rigadhyaha Aparavidya Yada Vishnuhana Vachakaha Tayeva Paramavidyaha Yada Vishnustu Vachakaha. Sri Madhvacharya has explored the spiritual meaning by writing a commentary on 40 hymns of Rigveda to bring out spiritual knowledge in the same. He has also commented upon hymns like Nasadaya Sukta and Asyavamiya Sukta in his other works and brought out their philosophical meaning. His work Karma Nirnaya especially brings out the spiritual significance of certain rituals and hymns. In his Gita Bhashya, he explains his Karma Yoga concept and strongly stresses the importance of active life. The principal tenets of Sri Madhvacharya's philosophy are neatly mentioned in a verse. Sriman Madhvamate Harihi Parataraha Satyam Jagat Tattvato Bhinnaha Jivaganaha Harehe Anucharaha Nichochya Bhavam Gataha Muktihi Naija Sukhanubhutihi Amala Bhaktischa Tatsadhanam Akshadit Tritayam Pramanam Akhilamnaya Eka Vedyo Harihi. Vishnu is the supreme principle. The world is real. There is difference among the God, souls and matter. The souls are the Prathibimbas of God. There is a hierarchy of souls. Realization of one's own true nature is liberation. Bhakti is the chief means of God's grace and liberation. Perception, inference, and verbal testimony are the three means of knowledge. The entire Veda conveys God. These 9 tenets form the important tenets of Dvaita Vedanta. Vishnu Sarvottamattva, the supremacy of Lord Vishnu, is the central doctrine in the light of which all other tenets have to be understood. Harireva paro, Harireva guruhu, Harireva jagat pitrmatra gatihi, na tataha asti aparam jagati idyatamam paramat parataha purushottamataha. Tat alam bahuloka vichintanaya pravanam kuru manasam ishapade na harehe paramaha na harehe sadarshaha paramaha satu sarvachidatmaganat. None is superior to Lord Hari. He is our father, he is our mother, and he is our preceptor. Therefore, let us not waste our life by worrying about petty things of this world. Direct your mind towards the Lord Hari. None is equal to Hari. None is superior to Hari. He is superior to both souls and matter. Thus, Sri Madhvacharya declares the supremacy of Lord Vishnu. He profusely quotes Shruti and Itihasa Purana passages to bring home this point. Vasudeva va idam agra asit, eko narayana asit, nate Vishnu jayamano najato deva mahimnaha paramantamapa. Dvavimau purushau loke ksharascha aksharevacha, ksaraha sarvani bhutani, kutasthaha akshara uchyate. Uttamah purushastu anyaha paramatmetyudahrataha. Sarve veda yatpadamamananti, vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. The entire sacred literature declares the supremacy of Lord Vishnu. Vishnoho sarvottamatveva sarvagamanam tatparyam. All names are the names of Vishnu. Namani sarvani amavishanti tam vai Vishnum paramam udaharanti. Hanta etameva purusham sarvani namani abhivadanti. Yatha nadyaha chandamanaha samudrayanaha samudram abhivashanti. Evameva etani namani sarvani purusham abhivishanti. Just as all rivers flow towards the sea, all names convey Purushottama. While describing Vishnu, 2 points are repeatedly stressed. These are his Gunaparipurnatva and Nirdoshatva. Vishnu is Niravadhika Ananta Kalyana Guna Paripurna. His auspicious attributes are limitless in number. Each attribute is limitless. The Shruti and Smritis declare a number of his attributes. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, Yas Sarvajnaha Sarvavita, Purnamadaha Purnavidam. His Jnana, Ananda, etc. attributes should not be taken in the ordinary sense. These are Alaukika and Aprakrita. Alaukikopi Jnanadihi Tachabdaireva Bhanyate Jnapanarthaya Lokasya Yatha Rajeva Devarat. His designation Bhagavan especially conveys Jnana, Shakti, etc. his 6 attributes. Jnana Shakti Balaishwarya Virya Tejamsi Asheshataha Bhagavat Shabda Vachyani Vinahyehi Gunadhibihi. He is Sarva Shabda Vach. Every word conveys an attribute. Since he possesses all attributes, all words convey him. The word Brahman also means Guna Paripurna. It is explained as Brahanto hi asmin gunaha iti Brahma. Therefore, the designations Brahma and Vishnu refer to the same Supreme God. The Upanishadic expressions Akshara, Prana, Akasha, Bhuma also refer to the same Supreme Principle. All words convey Brahman or Vishnu by Paramukhyavritti. Therefore, when Shruti says Akshara, Prana, Akasha as Jagatkarana, it means Brahman or Vishnu only as Jagatkarana. This Brahman is the primary source of the whole world. This is declared in the Shruti, Yato va imani bhutani jatani, yena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisamvishanti. Here, not only creation, sustenance, and the destruction are mentioned, but regulation, bestowing knowledge, liberation are also mentioned. Utpatti sthiti samharaha niyatihi jnanam avrutihi bandha mokshavicha purushat yasmat sa harire karat. Creation, sustenance, destruction, regulation, bestowing knowledge, ignorance, bondage, and liberation all are due to Lord Hari. Brahman is not the material cause of this world. He is efficient cause. Prakriti, the primordial matter, is the material cause. No Chetana can be the material cause for Achetana, nor Achetana can be the material cause for Chetana. Na Chetana vikarasyat yatra kvapi acetanam, na achetana vikaropi chetanasyat kadachana. Therefore, Brahman is not the material cause of the world. Prakriti is the material cause. However, this Prakriti being achetana cannot proceed to create on her own. It is activated by God. Prakritehe swataha parinama samarthya bhavat tad anukulataya tam pravishya mahadadirupataya parinamayati. Prakriti parinamat anantaram atmanancha mahadadi preranaya bahudha karoti. God activates Prakriti and the evolution of Mahatattva takes place. At each step of evolution, God enters and enables the next step to come up. There is no vikara or change for God. It is by His will that God creates the world. It is Prakriti that undergoes the modification. Ichha matram prabho srishtihi avikarasya sarvada swadehad ichhaya vishwam bhuktapurvam janardana sasarja mata pitrivat urunanabhivadevova pradhanam parinam isho nirvikaras sadaivahi. This Prakriti is entirely dependent upon God. Dravyam karmacha kalascha swabhavo jivayevacha yad anugraha santi na santi yadupekshaya. The primordial matter, actions, time, the very nature of all things and souls exist and function by the grace of God. He invests them with the respective capacities and enables them to function in respective ways. Tatra tatra sthito Vishnu tattachakti prabodhakaha ekayeva mahashaktihi kurute sarvamanjasa. Therefore, even if Prakriti is material cause and God is only efficient cause, His independence is not affected or compromised. Sahakaribhihi arambhe na swatantriyam vihanyate tat swabhava pravrityoscha swadhinatva vyavasthitehe. By using Prakriti as the material cause, God's independence is not affected, since the very existence and the functioning of Prakriti is entirely dependent upon God. God is described both as formless and as having a form. From different points of view, both the descriptions are true. He has no prakrita form. He is above Prakriti and therefore has no prakrita form. Prakrityadi pravartakatvena tad uttamatvat naima rupavat brahma. Natasya prakrita murtihi maunsamedo asti sambhava. However, he has aprakrita form. Ananda rupam amritam sahasra shirsha purushaha rukmavarnam kartaram vishvataschakshuhu uta vishvato mukham. He has jnananandatmaka sharira. His nature is avyakta, but he reveals himself to aparoksha jnanin by his achintyadbhuta shakti. God has Vyuha forms, Narayana, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna forms. He has the well-known 10 avatara forms. He has innumerable other incarnations, but there is absolutely no difference between his Mula Rupa and Avatara Rupas, or one Avatara Rupa and another Avatara Rupa. There is no difference between God and his attributes and his actions. He is one integrated whole, independent, supreme principle. God, being infinite, cannot be fully described, nor he can be fully understood. This does not mean that he cannot be described or cannot be comprehended at all. Through devotion and proper meditation, he can be comprehended and he can be described to an extent. Na ativedyah, na cha avedyah, tasmat sa parameshwaraha, pashyantopi na pashyanti, meroho rupam vipaschitaha. Just as the Meru mountain is seen in a way, but still it is not fully seen, God is seen and is also not seen. He cannot be understood by mere logic, nor by mere discourses. He can be understood only by His grace. Naisha tarkena matihe apaneya, nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha, na medhaya, na bahuna shrutena. Yameva esha vrunute tena labhyaha, tasyaiva atma virunute tanum swam. The Shruti passages yato vacho nivartante only indicate that he cannot be fully comprehended. It does not mean that he cannot be understood or described at all. He is immanent and transcendent. As Antaryamin, he regulates all. He bestows knowledge and liberation. He is supreme reality. This is the purport of the entire sacred literature. Alocha sarvashastrani vicharya cha punah punah idamekam sunushpannam dheyo narayana sada. Philosophically, the concept of Vishnu provides a central principal reality which is the foundation to all other aspects of reality. Theistically, the concept of Vishnu provides a supreme God. This Vishnu is Brahman, who is the central principal reality as well as a supreme God. In Dvaita Vedanta, jivas or souls are pratibhimbas of God. A pratibhimba is that which is similar to bimba and dependent upon it. Jivas are also Satchidananda Swarupa and hence similar to God. But these jivas are entirely dependent upon God in respect of their essential nature, functions and comprehension. Jivas are atomic in their dimension, but still they can function throughout the body by their amsha and chit quality. Anurhi eshaha atma, anurapi jivasya sarvasharira vyaptihi yujyate, अंशैहि शरीरे व्याप्तत्वात्. यथा आलोकस्य प्रकाशगुणेन व्याप्तिः ज्योतिरूपेण अव्याप्तिः एवं चिद्गुणेन व्याप्तिः जीवरूपेण अव्याप्तिः. Jivas are swaprakasha. Jiva has direct experience of itself as I. Jiva undergoes the experiences of joy and sorrow. He is the agent and the enjoyer. कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व शक्त्युपेतम साकारम देहादि व्यतिरिक्तम रूपम अहमिति साक्षिसिद्धम. अहमित्येव यो वेद्यः सजीव इति कीर्तितः स दुःखी स सुखी चैव सपात्रम बंधमोक्षयोः. Jivas are different from God. The Shruti and Sutras declare this difference very clearly. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya Om Prathakupadeshat Om. The Shrutis that appear like declaring identity indicate the similarity only. ಓಂ ತದ್ಗುಣಸಾರತ್ವಾತ್ ತದ್ವ್ಯಪದೇಶಃ ಓಂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮಗುಣಸದೃಶ ಆನಂದಾದಿಗುಣಸ್ವರೂಪತ್ವೇನ ಜೀವಸ್ಯ ಗೌಣವೃತ್ತ್ಯಾ ಅಭೇದವ್ಯಪದೇಶೋಪಪತ್ತೇಃ. Jiva has two kinds of upadhi. One is internal, the other is external. The external upadhi is eliminated at the time of liberation. The internal upadhi is a permanent fixture that has made the jiva the pratibimba of God. Jivopadhi dvidha prokta swarupam bahyevacha. Bahyopadhi kshayam vyati ಮುಕ್ತೌ ಅನ್ಯಸ್ಯತು ಸ್ಥಿತಿಃ. ಸರ್ವೋಪಾಧಿ ವಿನಾಶೇತು ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬಃ ಕಥಂ ಭವೇತ್. ಉಪಾಧೇಶ್ಚೈವ ನಿತ್ಯತ್ವಾತ್ ನೈವ ಜೀವೋ ವಿನಶ್ಯತಿ. Jiva is the agent for the activities to be undertaken by him in a limited sense. He has no independent agency. His agency is regulated by God. God directs him taking into account his anadikarma, samskara, etc. Purvakarma prayatnancha samskarancha apekshicha Ishvaraha karayat sarvam taccha Ishvara kritam swayam. The agency, the instrumentality, the very nature of all souls are due to God's grace. Kartritvam karanatvancha svabhavaha chetana dhritihi yatprasadat ime santi na santi yadupekshaya. Jivas are in transmigration because of the bondage of avidya. The avidya that binds jiva has two aspects. It conceals the true nature of jiva and also conceals God from him. Because of avidya, he fails to realize that he is dependent upon God. He labors under the wrong notion that he is independent agent and independently enjoys. This abhimana or self-appropriation is the chief source of his bondage. He can overcome this bondage by the grace of God. The grace of God could be obtained by knowledge, devotion, and discharging one's duties, religious and secular, with dedication to God. One has to harmoniously pursue karma, jnana, and bhakti. Dedicated life with divine awareness is the best means for spiritual progress. Though the jivas are different from God, the bimba-pratibimba bhava relation makes their association very intimate. This relation brings out two important philosophical points. Jiva is similar to God and dependent upon him in respect of his very essential nature, functioning and comprehension. During transmigration, Jiva fails to realize these aspects of his intimate association with God. He fails to realize his true nature as Sat, Chit and Ananda and not being an independent agent and enjoyer. The absence of the true knowledge of Bimba, God, is responsible for the absence of the true knowledge of Pratibimba, the Jiva. Bhakti, the love of God, with realization of his greatness, unfolds the true nature of God step by step. This leads to aparoksha jnana, the direct vision of God, and removes the avidya standing in between with the grace of God. A dedicated active life evokes bhakti and jnana more and more. It is not a hindrance to jnana if properly pursued. The objective world is real. The Shruti and Sutras declare the world as real. Yachiketa satyamit yatha tathyato arthan vedadhat shashvatibhyaha samabhyaha om vaidharmyacha na swapnadivat om athainamahuhu satyakarmeti satyam hi eva vishwamaso srijate Sometimes the objective world is compared to dream. This is intended only to indicate the perishable nature of the world. It also indicates the changing nature and dependent nature. Anityatva vikaritva paratantriyadi hetutah swapnadi samyam jagatah natu bodhanivartyata. The expressions atatvika, mayamaya, mithya do not indicate its illusory nature. Mithya only means it has no worthful purpose. Atatvika means changing. Mayamaya means prakrita. Mithyatvouktistu vrathatvat. Atatvikatvoktistu vikaritvat. Mayamayatvouktistu prakritatvat. The objective world is as real as Brahman. The primordial matter has no beginning, no end. It is not the outcome of ajnana. The objective world experience is never sublated. Anaditvat, anasitvat, jnana anasyatvatatha. Ajnana akarya vastutvat, brahmavat sakalam jagat. Prakriti is the direct material cause for the time, space and the gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. It is indirectly the cause for mahat, ahankara, etc. 24 principles. Thus, the objective world is the evolution of Prakriti. It is not Brahma Parinama or Brahma Vivarta. Avyakrita Akasha, the space, Prakriti, the primordial matter, Kala, the time, Varna and Vedas are eternal. But these get into certain conditions such as Murta Sambandha, Vikara, Pravaha at the time of creation. All the same, these are all real. The objective world is not superimposed on any, nor it is sublated later. No God's creation can be an illusion. The objective world provides a sadhana bhumi for the souls. A worthful life on this sadhana bhumi will help spiritual progress. Before creation, the souls will be in a dormant stage with their subtle bodies. These are provided with a gross body and floated into transmigration so as to provide them an opportunity to undertake their duties, develop bhakti, obtain jnana and realize their true nature with the grace of God. Linga dehayutaha sarve patita murchitaha iva yadite sthula dehena yuta nasyuhu ime akhilaha katham karmani kurviran vishnu bhakti parayanaha apurna bhaktayaha teva katham moksham avapnuyuhu. Thus, the transmigration provides an opportunity for spiritual progress. The objective world provides a ground for utilizing this opportunity. Thus, it is a sadhana bhumi for spiritual progress and not merely an illusion. The God, the souls and matter are different from each other. The souls are different from each other. Different entities of matter are also different from each other. These differences are grouped into five-fold differences. Jiveshwara bhida chaiva, Jadeshwara bhida tatha, Jiva bhedo mithashchaiva, Jadajiva bhida tatha. Mithascha jadabhedoyam, prapancho bhedapanchakaha. This difference is not superimposed nor temporary. Difference is an internal attribute of each entity. Each entity has its unique nature. This distinguishes it from all others. Prayaha sarvato vilakshanam hi padarthaswarupam drishyate. Padarthaswarupam bhedaha. Yadi na swarupam bhedaha tada padarthe drishte sarvato vilakshanam tasya na jnayeta. Even after liberation, the souls continue to be different from God and enjoy His presence. Dvaita Vedanta derives its designation Dvaita on account of this doctrine of difference. This designation should not be taken in the Western sense of dualism, according to which matter and mind are two independent principles. The term pluralism is also not a correct description of Dvaita. Many independent categories are not accepted in Dvaita. Sankhya may be described as dualism, while Nyaya Vaisheshika may be described as pluralism. Sri Madhvacharya accepts three pramanas: Pratyaksha, Anumana and Agama. Apart from senses and manas, there is a Surupendriya called Sakshi. This is witnessing aspect of self. In addition to Indriya Pratyaksha, Manasa Pratyaksha, Dvaita accepts Sakshi Pratyaksha. Sakshi can perceive the self, time, happiness, etc. directly. All experiences have to be ultimately vouchsafed by Sakshi. Validity of experience is comprehended by Sakshi. No external verification is required to ascertain the validity of experience. It is only the error that has to be detected by other means. Shruti is pramana in the matters that are beyond sense perception. In the area of sense perception, Pratyaksha is primary evidence, while in the areas that are beyond sense perception, Shruti is primary evidence. Laukike vyavaharetra pratyakshasya upajivyata tat pratyaksha viruddharte na agamasyapi manata agamaika pramaneshu tasyaiva hi upajivyata. Shruti is apurusheya and swatah pramana. All Shruti passages are Tattva Vedakas. Aikya Shrutis have to be suitably interpreted. Since Jiveshwara Bheda is clear in Bheda Shrutis, the Aikya Shrutis convey similarity of God and soul, primacy of God and independence of God. These do not convey identity. Sadrishyachya pradhanatvat swatantradapi va abhidham ahuhu ishena jivasya na swarupabhidham kvachita स्वातंत्र्ये च विशिष्टत्वे स्थानमत्यैक्येवरपि सादृश्ये च एकवाक् सम्यक् सावकाशः यथेष्टतः. The correct purport of Shruti has to be determined by upakrama, upasamhara, etc. determinatives of purport. The aid of Shruti, Linga, Vakya, Prakarana, etc. also has to be taken to fix the correct meaning. In addition to Rudhi, Yoga and Yoga Rudhi, there are Vidvad Rudhi, Mahayoga and Mahayoga Rudhi. Through these all words convey God only. His innumerable attributes are conveyed by these words. All Vedic words convey God only by Paramamukkhya Vritti. Even Swara, Varna, Ghosha, etc. convey God only. Sri Madhvacharya assigns suitable places to karma, jnana, bhakti and prasada as means of spiritual knowledge and liberation. Karma is not opposed to jnana. It actually helps to obtain jnana if it is properly performed. Only kamya karmas and nishiddha karmas have to be avoided. Nivritta karma helps one to attain God. Nishkamam jnanapurvantu nivrittamiti chochyate. Nivrittam chevamanastu brahmapyeti sanatanam. There are 4 aspects of karma yoga. Vihita karmanushtanam, Sravanadidvara paramatmajnanam, Sannyasaha, Tyagaha. Both karma yoga and jnana yoga include karma. It is only a question of degree. Jnana prachuro yogaha jnana yogaha. Karma prachuraha karma yogaha. Jnaninam karmanushtanam asteva. Karminam api jnatavyaha bhagavan. Sannyasa does not mean complete rejection of karma. It means only kamya karma parityaga and dveshadi varjana. Apart from vihita karmanusthana, nanajana shishrusha is also a part of one's responsibility. Bhakti is very essential to obtain God's knowledge and grace. Bhakti is love of God with the realization of His greatness. Mahatmya jnanapurvastu sudridhaha sarvatodhikaha snehu bhaktiriti proktaha taya muktihi nachanyatha. There are stages of bhakti such as Pakva Bhakti, Paripakva Bhakti and Ati Paripakva Bhakti. These stages of bhakti lead to Paroksha Jnana, Aparoksha Jnana and Prasada. Bhakti has to continue even after liberation. The bhakti after liberation is called Sadhya Bhakti. Vairagya is not a negative concept of mere disinterestedness in others, but it is developing highest interest in God, realizing the inferior nature of other things. Prana buddhi manakhatma dehapatya dhanadayaha yat samprakat priyaha asan tatah konu aparaha priyaha. There are different types of upasanas according to the capacities of different upasakas. Keshanchit sarvagatvena, keshanchit hridaye harihi, keshanchit bahireva asau upasyaha purushottamaha. Some meditate upon God as present everywhere, some meditate at the heart, and some outside. Agnav kriyavatam Vishnu, yoginam hridaye harihi, pratimaso aprabuddhanam, sarvatra viditatmanam. Ritualists worship God in Agni, the yogins at the heart, common people through the idols, and the wise sages worship Him everywhere. While meditating upon God, His four aspects, Sat, Chit, Ananda and Atma, have to be meditated upon by everyone. The Bhuma and Brahman, that is to say, Purna Sukhatva and Purna Gunatva aspects have to be brought to the mind. The eligibility for spiritual knowledge is of three kinds: Vedadhikara, Tantradhikara and Namadhikara. Acquiring spiritual knowledge through Veda, through Itihasa Purana and through Nama Sankirtana. Everyone is eligible for Nama Sankirtana. Antaja piye bhaktaha namadhnanadhikarinaha. Cultivating Shama, Dama, etc. virtues is very necessary for spiritual pursuit. A good moral life is a necessary precondition of spiritual life. Na avirataha duscharitat, na ashantaha, na asamahitaha, shanto dantaha uparataha titikshuho samahitaha bhutva atmanneva atmanam pasyet. Good fellowship and brotherly feeling with all is equally essential. Mahatam bahumanena, heenanam anukampaya, maitriya chaiva atmatulyeshu. Sameshu swatmavat snehaha, satsu anyatra tatodaya, karya evam aparokshena drishyate kshipramishvaraha. Maitri, Karuna and Muditata must be developed. Respect for all and much more so to worthy people is necessary. Adaraha sarvajantunam samsiddho hi svabhavataha tatodhikaha sottameshu tadadhikkyanusarataha kartavyo vasudevantam sarvatha shubhamicchata. No injury is to be inflicted to anyone. Pipilika vadhadini kshudrapapoditani cha papam astimatham hatya phalachauryadreva va. All prohibited acts have to be avoided. Nishiddha karmanam tyagaha swadharmascha kritistatha sarvadaiva apramattascha pasyedeva harim param. Above all these preparations, Guru Bhakti and Guru Prasada are most important. There are two types of Gurus, Aniyata Guru and Niyata Guru. Anyone who gives some knowledge is Aniyata Guru, while one who knows the spiritual ability of the disciple correctly and imparts appropriate knowledge is Niyata Guru. In Dvaita tradition, Mukhya Prana is the Guru for all. He is the chief messenger of God. Bhuvara Harane Vishnoho Pradhanangam Marutihi. He took 3 incarnations of Hanuman, Bhima and Madhva to serve God in 3 incarnations of Rama, Krishna and Vedavyasa. He has highest knowledge and highest devotion. Therefore he is Jivottama. Tattvajnane Vishnu Bhaktau Dhairye Sairye Parakrame Vege cha Laghave chaiva Pralapasya cha Varjane Bhimasena Samo Nasti Senayohu Uvayorapi. Lord Hari is especially present in Mukhya Prana. Vayuhu Anilam Amritam. It is Vayu who takes the liberated souls to Lord Vishnu. Saha Enan Brahmagamayati. Vishnurhi Data Mokshasya. Vayuscha Tadarudnaya. Sri Madhvacharya declares himself to be the 3rd incarnation of Mukhya Prana. He declares that Narayana is his direct Guru and records his intense devotion for him. The fact of these 3 incarnations of Mukhya Prana is described in Pavamana hymns and Balitha hymn of Rigveda. The very name Madhva indicates this special position. With the blessings of such a Guru, one has to overcome the bondage and attain liberation. The bondage is due to God's will. It consists of avidya, kamakarma, linga sharira, trigunatmakam manaha, sthula shariram, ityadi. There are 2 aspects of avidya that bind a soul, namely swagunachadika and paramachadika. That which conceals the true nature of Jiva and that which conceals the nature of God. In addition, there are subtle body and gross body that bind. The manas which drags Jiva towards worldly objects is another binding factor. The kama karmas intensify this bondage. Because of avidya, the Jiva labors under kartritva, bhoktrutva, Karakaswamitva, Phalaswamitva, Apurusharthe, Purushartha Buddhi, Purushartha Sadhane, Tat Sadhana Buddhi, and so on. Thus, he is contaminated by matter such as subtle body and gross body, and wrong emotions such as Kartritvabhimana, Bhoktritvabhimana, etc. This is bondage both physically and emotionally. When he realizes that he is not Swatantra Karta, Swatantra Bhokta and so on, he undertakes Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana and develops Bhakti for God. Through Bhakti he obtains Aparoksha Jnana and Prasada. It is Prasada that liberates. Jidnyasotta Jnanajat Tat Prasada Deva Muchyate. The contamination of matter is bondage and getting freed from this is liberation. Bhutabandhastu samsaraha muktihi tebhyo vimochanam. Jiva's true nature consists of Sat, Chit and Ananda. These are willed during transmigration. These will manifest when Jiva is liberated. Balam anandaha oyascha sahodnanam anakulam swarupanyeva jivasya vyajyante paramadvibhoho. To achieve this, one has to make a beginning with Vihita Karma, that is to say, discharging his rightful duties, obtain Jnana, enlightenment, practice Bhakti, devotion, Shama, Dama, etc., self-culture, and moral purity, and finally, Sharanagati, complete dedication of everything that one does at the feet of God including himself. The Dvaita provides a highly ethical and humane social life with a spiritual goal. Following Sri Madhvacharya, good many eminent scholars and saints have enriched Dvaita Vedanta. Sri Jayatirtha, Sri Vyasaraja, Sri Vadiraja, Sri Raghuttama, Sri Vidyadesha, Sri Raghavendra and many other saint philosophers have enriched Dvaita literature. A popular movement of Haridasas led by Purandaradasa has produced a rich literature of Kannada songs with the melody of music and the depth of devotion. Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa, Vijayadasa, Gopaladasa, Jagannathadasa are some of the great names in this field. These have made rich contribution to Bhakti literature and Karnataka music. Sarvendriya Prerakena Shri Pranapatina Iritaha Yadavocham Vachastena Prinatu Purushottamaha.
Professor K.T. Pandurangi is a renowned scholar in Vedanta, Mimamsa and Nyaya. He received his traditional education at Mysore, Chidambaram and Varanasi under great traditional scholars. Later he acquired university degrees. He worked at Karnataka College, Dharwad, Government College, Bangalore and Bangalore University and retired in 1978. Later he worked as the president of Mythic Society, a renowned organization devoted to the research in ancient Indian history and culture. Presently, he is a Upakulapati of Purna Prajna Vidyapita, a Gurukula established by Sri Pejavara Swamiji of Udupi. He is also associated with the Indian Council of Philosophical Research, Rashtriya Sanskriti Samsthana, and a number of universities. He visited Germany, Austria, England and USA and delivered lectures on Vedanta and Mimamsa. He is considered an authority on Indian philosophy, religion and culture. He is an embodiment of traditional and modern knowledge.